Stormy Daniels says not only is she free to tell her story, but she also has props. You may have heard of the In Touch interview that she did, where back in the day she said in 2006 she had sex with Donald Trump in his Lake Tahoe hotel suite. In case you need to be reminded of what they look like, that's it. Imagine them having sex with each other.
No.
Yep, you're gonna have to do it.
I don't.
If you can't do that, you can't stomach it, you can't watch the rest of the segment. The reports were that she was paid $130,000 not to talk about it leading up to the election last year, and Trump's lawyer just admitted that he had done that he paid $130,000 from his account. It was reported in multiple sources and it was confirmed by Trump's lawyer. So Stormy says that invalidates the NDA that they had accompanying that settlement so she can tell her story. And she says she, just like Monica Lewinsky, has a dress with the president's materials on it. Let's take a look at that dress. I'm just kidding, I made that one up.
Yeah, that's not the one I looked at online.
That's my joke one.
That's like the Nickelodeon sponsored dress.
Yes, it is. The joke here is that the president is orange, and so that would be orange. No, that is actually not it. Here's the actual dress that she says she has. It's a gold dress, which she says was kept in pristine condition ever since the events of 2006. And so as this is reported by a website called The Blast.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
Sometimes life just gives you the perfect moment.
Yeah, what do you make of this?
I think this story, I mean, first of all, I don't know what everyone's complaining about. Trump's lawyer paid for everything, so it's all fine. But when you look at a story like this, it's really hard to not think of a past president wearing a past dress. And it's a great litmus test for partisanship because we remember what happened during that time. And we remember, well, we can't remember because it didn't happen. Well, what would have happened? What would conservatives say if this had happened to Obama? And now we have the same argument going backwards. And it's just like, with this we see people are just going to make some kind of incomprehensible argument supporting whatever side they had already. I don't care what consenting adults decide to do, even if it's outside the confines of marriage. What I care about is incentive. And if there was an affair and if there was a payoff, that does show some kind of incentive was there.
Right, there was a really great piece in the Washington Post that really outlined the question that you have after you might have the instinct like, well, this is two consenting adults. I don't want to close my eyes and think of it. I'm glad Valentine's Day was yesterday because I will have no sex drive going forward, imagining this event taking place.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, it is crazy to think we had 8 years off of this, and say what you will about Obama, but if he came anywhere near this kind of a scandal, even rumors of a scandal like this.
If he had 3 marriages, think of how we would talk about, or he would be talked about.
So what does that mean? Is it just expectations?
It means people think the way they want to think, and they're going to find supporting arguments and supporting ideas, or even things not based in fact, that go along with their already preconceived and preformed thoughts. And this is just, I think it's stupid. But it's also an interesting way to look at how people process things and how people argue.
Right. One thing to think about is when you're talking about the president's like approval ratings and everything, the Republican Party just went through this whole initiative where they're trying to focus on the tax cuts and economic recovery. And there's a whole block of the GOP that's trying to just focus on that. And they're saying, stay on message. Don't talk about anything else. What is crazy to me is what must have happened behind the scenes to get Michael Cohen to speak about this. Because this guarantees you something that they paid to go away during the election, that resurfaced recently when it was under a non-disclosure agreement. I remember she very tactfully went up in front of Jimmy Kimmel.
She had a really boring Kimmel interview.
Yeah. But that was news for a while, and now they're just gonna talk about this. And then if I have to drum back up the DNA evidence and the idea of all of like.
I mean, I went on a website's comment section for this and people were like, who trusts DNA anyway? And I was like, what are you doing?
I don't know what else we're gonna learn because there's so much that's out there already. The In Touch, well, first of all, let's look at the dress from Monica Lewinsky, just to give you that back and forth. Gorgeous dress, sorry. And then we're gonna go after to show, this is from the In Touch interview that she gave, that Stormy Daniels gave, saying that sex with the president was textbook generic. I actually don't even know why I did it, but I do remember while we were having sex, I was like, please don't try to pay me.
Wow.
I don't know what else we're gonna get out. I don't want to talk about it, but there's still part of me that just wants juicy details. Fix me.
The lurid details I don't actually need to know. What I need to know is, why did money change hands? Where did this come from? Were there other things that were done clandestinely?
Right, yeah, the Washington Post thing everybody should go check out, because it really does say if it came from a corporation to the lawyer, what does that mean? One of the craziest things that I learned from that was that one of the covers that the lawyer could have is if he makes these kinds of payments all the time.
What?
So if it's a one-time payment, according to the Washington Post article, which I didn't submit to graphics, but they said that if he has done that a lot, then it's just kind of regular business, and there's nothing different about that transaction. Just because it was closer to the election, he does that kind of stuff all the time. So if he's constantly paying people giant sums on behalf of his client or whatever, depending on where it comes from, but if he's making those giant payments, then it's just kind of a normal act, and he might be more likely to get away with it. But if it's just a one-time thing, it's less likely.
Do you mean paying people off who've had sex with him, or just paying people off who have some kind of claim they can make?
I think it clouds the whole thing if they're able to say that, listen, I don't know how this is different than any other kind of transaction, and it'll be a he said, she said. That's why the DNA evidence comes into play, because then it can prove that they did have some kind of dalliance. Which, does anyone doubt that at this point?
I mean, it's likely. It's not surprising.
Yeah. The president's team says that both sides have denied it, but that's just not true. According to everyone who's reported on this, Stormy Daniels has not denied it. She has tactfully stepped around the issue.
She's avoided it, but she hasn't said no.
Because that means according to the interaction she had with Jimmy Kimmel, it kind of proves that she was under a non-disclosure agreement because of the weird way she was answering questions.
Okay.
And if she can prove this, it means two things. One, they were together, all right, case closed. But two, someone had to get a sample from the president to compare it to.
No.
How's that gonna get subpoenaed? Ugh.
If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.